Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On today's episode, Aubrey and I are going to sit there and break down what we got from the Star Wars Shatterpoint Roadmap on Friday. So let's jump into it. As always, I'm here with Aubrey. How we doing today, bud?
Like I said before we started, I'm a little sleepy, but I'm here. I'm excited. I didn't even realize how much information we were given because I just watched the hour-long roadmap, and then I was getting on Shatterpoint's database, and I'm like, oh, wait, what's that? There's too many things.
Yeah, a lot of information this weekend. So that's why I was like thinking about from the start. I'm like, let's not try and cover everything from Ministravaganza because that's going to be probably about 3 to 4 episodes worth of information. Let's just go ahead and talk about the roadmap, and hopefully we can get through the entire roadmap, but it's entirely possible this might become a 2-episode event just in itself because there was a lot of cool things to talk about coming from that, just from that alone. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. We started talking before we started recording, and then we're like, wait, no, we could just keep talking about this forever. we need to actually start the podcast because, I was not I don't know why I wasn't expecting this much, but I just thought they'd be feeding us a little more piecemeal. No, they just went, here's everything, have fun, and wait for the next year till it all comes out.
Yeah, the next year Shatterpoint's going to be really exciting, really exciting. So I know, like I said, you and I played a game earlier this week, and I was really excited. You're finally moving away from clones, and I think that's a good move for you. You really need to move away from the clones. Well, I mean, part of it is you're a new player. You haven't played a lot of miniature games before, and if you listen to some of the other podcasts, like especially like Hello There, they do definitely tell you clones and Republic are probably the highest, most difficult faction to play right now. You probably should just ease into a little bit more, and so I think you make the right call by moving away from clones for the time being.
Yeah. I don't think I talked about this on the podcast last week, but I can out myself to our listeners. I received the Jar Jar Award in our LGS's league, meaning I got the fewest wins out of anyone in the league. But I played clones the entire time. I tried so hard to make them good, and I got the Jar Jar Award. So I know some people can win with them. I clearly am not one of those people, though.
Yeah, I think it was time to move away. I mean, the Jar Jar Binks Award was definitely the a good wake up call, I think, for you to say no. It's time to move away from these guys. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So what I played against you, and I asked to play against Vader Grievous. So and it's funny, we almost played a mirror match because we had the same Mandalorian Super Commandos, OB2, Magna Guards, and what was the other? Oh, Jango Fett, right? So we played almost a mirror match, but different primaries. So you had Vader Grievous, I had Ahsoka Dooku because I wanted to see. That's what a lot of people have talked about as kind of the foil to the Vader Grievous beatdown plan. And I have to say, you did not wound, like I'm used to when I play against Vader, the whole squad, everybody's wounded by the end. Mm-hmm. You did not wound my characters. You did activate Grievous. It felt like 3 times in a row. I know it wasn't really, but it felt like Grievous was just laying down so much beatdown anyway that I just couldn't keep up. But Ahsoka did work. I feel like Dooku, I think, is a lot better when you're playing all separatists, because I played that list on Friday against one of our friends. I was teaching him how to play, and lost the first struggle there, too. Really not doing... My track record's not there, but that's okay. I'll just be the honorary Jar Jar Binks of the podcast. But that I don't know how I feel. Like, maybe I need to mess around with Dooku more. But that Ahsoka side, the Ahsoka... OB2 Mandos, that felt really good. I mean, you get any new insights from beating down on me, Todd?
I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any new insights. I mean, OB2, and as I think everybody in the community knows, is amazing. He really does he's just the threat of having Obi-2 doing mind trick alone can really change the entire battlefield and everything like that. So I really do like Obi-2. And I've been playing him more and more lately, and he's just an amazing character. So I think that's nothing new, but just more since I've been playing him more. It's like more fresh in my mind that this guy's just amazing, and he does some really cool things.
Yeah, I remember. So again, mirror match. So you had your Obi-2 moving up and you know causing me to have to like you basically have to go around him or try to tax their force. And then on my side of things, I had that moment where I got Obi-2 all the way to the back middle point from me. So your closest middle point. And because everybody's got different naming conventions,
Right.
whatever. Anyway, so basically I held off Super Commandos and Vader just because of the threat of Mind Trick. I mean, you had set up a scenario where you were gonna eventually get my shields down and get an attack in. It ended up not mattering because we switched struggles, but went on to the next struggle, not switched. But the fact that my little secondary was holding off Darth freaking Vader backed up with Mandalorians, you're like, oh, this guy is really good. And I know I gushed about Mind Trick when we first had this, box come out, but it's even better than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, my Vader did not actually come up until I think he was like the second to last card that I had in my order deck, and
Yeah.
I shatterpointed Grievous to sit there and just do Grievous murder. So Vader didn't do a lot that game simply because of how I was activating, because Grievous was just running around killing people like crazy, which was amazing. An homage of Francis.
MVP.
Yeah. So for Francis's sake, because our boy Francis, I was playing his Asthma Brothers list basically. So he's named them. So whenever we play, it's the Asthma Brothers, which is Vader, Grievous. So
Yes.
yeah. So no, I definitely I think it was great, but we definitely to try and get through as much of Ministravaganza's roadmap, we definitely need to jump into this topic. And there's other things that I definitely want to talk into, but I think we have like much more stuff to talk about. So, jumping into Ministravaganza, the first thing that they showed us was the full PLO Coon box, which I think if anybody's familiar with Adepticon and watching the spoilers that came from Adepticon, we're pretty familiar with this. It comes with the PLO Coon. He's going to have Commander Wolf and Snips as secondaries, and then the Wolf Pack as his secondary. So I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping that we're going to get this before the end of the year. And I think we're going to start slowing down on the releases. So I'm really excited for this box. What was your thoughts when you saw this, though?
I just don't want to get burned again, Todd. This box looks really good. I mean, I have been wanting to play with Padawan Snips, and I know you can download, print out the cards and play for fun. But I'm one of those people where I'm always it's my problem. It's just in my head. I'm always itchy about, well, I don't own it yet, so I don't want to practice with something I can't play in a tournament. Whatever. Get over it, Aubrey. But so I'm already excited that we're getting Snips, because getting that pre-release model is practically impossible. And then these look like they're gonna be melee clones. The clones need melee. Have you seen them? They have those vibro blades and stuff. Why don't we have melee clones? And I think Wolfpack's gonna give us melee clones, which is what we need. I'm just worried I'm gonna get burned again. I thought that when Mace came out, Mace was gonna save us. Okay, he didn't. Padme's cool. I think Padme in her box is great. But if you want to relive like the Clone Wars action of that time period, I have trouble from a lore side of putting Queen Amidala and her handmaidens up there with clones. Like, just give us a Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and some Gungans. Like, let me live my episode 1 dreams over here. Don't make me bring 14-year-old Amidala with like grown-up Anakin. You're like, this is fine. So I'm just saying, they burn me again if I get this PLO Coon box and the clones are still bad. I don't know if I'm going back to the light side. That might be my heel turn. That'll be the end. I can't take any more bad clones, Todd.
Oh no, I get it. No, and it's. I do feel bad for the clone players because it's just you've wanted the clones to be so good for so long, but hope is on the horizon for all of you good guy players because of course, I mean, and we're going to get to this. The rebels are coming, and I think that's going to help out quite a bit. So once we move to that Galactic Civil War era, so we're coming to an end of the Clone Wars releases, so I think it's going to be okay. But I do like PLO. I do like this box. I mean, now everybody's going to be able to get snips, which is really nice because I think that was AMG kind of dropped the ball on that. I mean, especially if you were following it from the beginning, like from this game from the beginning, because it was like this big thing, like, hey, you pre-order, you're going to get snips, and then all of the stores only got like 6 to 8 copies of snips, and it was like, oh wait, not everyone's going to get it. I guess we'll raffle it off. So there was some stuff there. It's like it's going to be nice to finally let everybody get snips and let everybody play snips. And I think that, who knows, that might, when she's in the hands of everybody and everybody that wants her, maybe she'll actually see a little bit more play and become a little bit more viable. So I'm pretty excited about this box. I think it's going to be pretty exciting to do that. But I mean, it's one of those things that I'm looking at, it's like, man, like, okay, now we've seen the PLO box, we've seen what it has to offer. And now they actually did show us PLO Coon and himself and what he's going to end up offering us. So that's really cool. I'm really excited about that as well. What are your thoughts on good old PLO himself? He's going to be an 8 threat. He's going to have 3 Force. He is the Jedi Master primary. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited about him. What are you thinking about this guy?
Oh, again, I hope I'm not getting burned, but like he has the, on activation movement. It's each character in the unit can dash. Then, if it's a trooper or Padawan, which is probably what you're bringing, then, PLO gets the dash too. I mean, this is, we have learned from the Separatists, from basically everybody besides the Galactic Republic, unless you count Padme, that on activation movement is how you are winning struggles. If you can move multiple characters for free, as opposed to not free, I'm looking at you, defensive maneuver, it's better. It's better. So yeah, no, I'm excited about this guy. I mean, the rest of his abilities, we know force push, that's good. His identity ability, I think we got to play with. Like it's a little complicated. They talked about in the roadmap how many iterations they had to do of this very basic idea. Mm-hmm. So I assume it's gonna be good, but it's gonna take some actual playing with to really wrap your head around. Wait, all right, whose expertise tree am I using?
Right, so. Exactly. So it's different. I mean, it's like I like it. I mean, as far as like he's going to sit there and protect his secondaries or his supporting units and everything along those lines. So it's really cool that he's going to be that protector that he is. It's really just dives into the lore of PLO Coon. So I think that's really cool. One of the things that I really like,
they nailed the lore.
Yes, they definitely nailed the lore with this one, and I think that was, and AMG's done a pretty good job of that. As like far as like bringing the lore in. One of the things as far as the card is concerned, I'm really excited that like we're finally seeing Trooper and Padawan, the tags of those two mattering, and that's going to be coming with his card where the movement ability is Trooper and Padawan is really a key thing for it, along with his ability. It's like we're jumping out at those two. So finally we're seeing some reason to sit there and bring those keywords in.
Yeah, and remember, Trooper is on, and we were all trying to figure this out. Trooper is on the Royal Handmaidens. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you want to maximize all of the movement that you possibly can get, like, we might be seeing a PLO Coon Padme list. Because, dear... Ooh, dear, you're gonna get to move a lot if that's who you decide to roll into town with.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to bring a lot of interesting dynamics to the game, and I'm sure once the actual full box gets spoiled, we're definitely going to be doing an episode on that as well. So, but
Yeah.
it's really cool, like the amount of information or like the different abilities that he has, and like bringing those keywords in. And I know they kind of went over. I mean, they did spoil his cards are a little difficult to see, but overall, I mean, one of the things that jumped out at me is his Form 5 Demso side. One expertise is a crit. Two expertise is two crits. I mean his attack side, his attacking side is solid. And then if you actually flip over to his Form 3 side for defense, 1 to 2 gets you 2 blocks, 3 gets you 2 blocks and reduces a crit to a regular hit, and then on 4 plus it's 2 blocks, crit to a failure, and a crit to a regular strike. His defensive expertise on that side is amazing, and just a crit on one expertise is so good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, like I'm very excited about this. I am cautiously optimistic. I was also excited about Mace, and it turns out Mace is really good if he stays engaged, but once he's not engaged, it's a little rougher as soon as he gets force pushed. Whereas this one, yeah, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be happy all the way around.
I mean,
I think.
to be fair, when I've played against you with Mace, is like I intentionally like found ways to move out of engagement to turn that ability off. It's like so like if someone's playing intelligently against Mace, yes, I mean, so you really have to. I mean, like he is a finesse piece in a way. Like just with all clones, there's a higher level of understanding of placement and everything along those lines that just needs to come into play. And again, that's probably going to be happening with PLO. I mean, he are very defensive when it comes to the Jedi's. I mean, but he is a solid character. I mean, he's 3 stamina, 10 durability. He's able to take a hit. He's got some really good defensive trees. So our defensive expertise. So I think he's going to be a pretty good character overall. I'm excited to
Yeah.
see what he's going to look like on the table. I'm sure people are going to start taking him out and trying to give him a test run as soon as possible. So I'm excited for him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think if this box does not give Galactic Republic what it needs, I don't know what will, because this looks really good. Like, and that's without even having seen what the clones can actually do. Because we know Snips is good. Everybody who's been playing with her has been raving about her abilities. I think she goes well with PLO Coon. Like, I mean, we're gonna have to see what his I guess, is his commander an ARC trooper? I don't actually know what the
Wolf,
well, anyway, his other second.
Yeah, Wolf isn't
Yeah,
an ARC trooper, but he's a pretty good clone. So I don't think he's going to be an ARC trooper
Yeah.
by any means.
Right, but we'll see. But we got to keep moving. We got to keep moving.
Yeah,
This is only the first. we haven't even made it to the end of the year, because what's happening November 3rd, Todd?
Well, okay, so we can go ahead and jump into November 3rd for sure. So that is on November 3rd. They did talk about how we're going to be getting a new box, a new what is it called? The Hondo basically is going to be showing up in on the scene, and he's going to be sitting there bringing with him. I loved the Hondo art that they spoiled. That was super cool, and basically that's going to be bringing with that new Hondo art a new mission pack on November 3rd. So that's really cool. I'm really excited for that one, and we didn't get to see a lot of it. They did talk about it a little bit, but and you can see a little bit of the card. So one of the things that they did mention on the stream was if you activate a character with your Shatterpoint card, there's going to be some specialized abilities with that. And we can only see like really one of those cards that shows it. So there's now, of course, 9 other cards that are going to be in these mission packs. So it's going to be really cool to see what we get out of this. And I'm sure probably within the next couple of weeks, we're going to end up getting some articles that are going to show us exactly what some of this stuff is. But yeah, I'm excited for another mission pack.
Yeah, so if you look at it, and I recall they called it like the the like slaughter bowl or massacre bowl, or
The
I don't
death
know
donut, I
what
think
did
it was
they
the death donut, something about
death,
it.
death donut, yeah, something like that, because you can see they're the objectives are all a lot closer to each other. There's
Yes.
fewer objectives, two fewer objectives, right? Yeah, three, two, two. So two fewer objectives. It looked like just based on what little we could see, a lot of the options are going to be pretty close to each other. Like
Mhm.
this is going to lead to a lot more engagement, a lot more it feels like with the current missions you end up in this spot like for example, it was very important to our first two struggles that OB2 was on your back point in the middle, and then struggle 3 didn't matter.
Mhm.
He didn't do anything because that spot no longer mattered and he was no longer close to, I think he chose the 3 across,
Yeah.
and it just nothing happened. With this, it looks like everything's going to be a little bit closer, a little bit near each other, pending any terrain things. There's going to be a lot more fighty
Yes.
than we have now, because there's a lot of activations. I mean, we did it where Django just kind of, moved over here, jetpack, captured, wired somebody, took cover, took a point, and that's all what you want to do with Django. Not saying it's bad, but he didn't even fight. He didn't even need to fight. It looks like with this one, might be a little bit more fighting. Gonna have to see how it plays out.
Bang bang
Because the
murder
only thing
murder
we
is the
can
game of the game. Yeah.
yeah, because the only thing we can read, because I've got the image we have, is like there's a thing press forward at the start of this unit's activation. Each character in this unit may dash. So, and we don't even know, like, is that the Shatterpoint activation they were talking
I
about, or is
believe
that something
so. I
else?
believe that's what it is, and they
So,
did also mention that there's another different one where like you can potentially do a recover action too. So there's all sorts of different things that might be coming out of this, which is going to be cool.
yeah, yeah, because it's like after a player chooses an allied unit to activate with a Shatterpoint order card, the chosen unit gains it looks like the on activation because it's blurry, but I
Hmm.
think it's the on activation symbol ability gained on the active struggle until end of turn. Yeah, so that's what's gonna happen. You gotta like look at it to see. So I mean that's cool. Like adding more stuff that happens at the start of activation. That's fantastic. You're now going to have, and again, they talked about this in the roadmap, but you're going to have this thing where, how do I build my squads? Are we doing the OG mission packs? Are we doing the new mission packs? What's my opponent bringing? What mission's going to pop up? You're going to have a little bit more of a mental load as you're trying to do squad building, and even, all right, what's going to flip? Because we and other podcasts, content creators have all been talking. A lot of times when the struggle starts to slip away from you, you got to start preparing for the next struggle with your positioning. But now we're gonna have more decision trees with that preparation. What's gonna flip over? Okay.
Exactly. And we've been and they did mention that from the start they've been working on 3 different mission packs. So I'm assuming that sometime before the end of like next year we're going to actually see that third mission pack too. So this is, like it's going to make the game very different where you're going to have to start preparing for every mission pack that comes out, not just this one. So we've been spoiled learning the game on the front end where it's like, okay, we've only had the one mission pack. Now we're going to get that second one where you're going to have to start thinking about how am I going to play both of these mission packs when I'm bringing my entire squad strike force and premier squad, to a convention or to a actual event, because I have two different mission packs that can potentially come. So I'm super excited just to shake up the game a little bit. This is definitely something that we've needed to shake up the game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think it's gonna be it. What I like about this is this shows that they are thinking outside the box, because and I don't know why I thought this, but I was kind of thinking it was just gonna be maybe just different objective setups, like the objectives are in weird places, like maybe there's a diamond formation or something, and instead Like, and again, I don't make games, so like maybe I shouldn't feel too badly about this. But the fact that they're like, oh no, we're gonna make it so there's completely different abilities happening. Your Shatterpoint card's gonna matter, and that might actually make you like want to use your Shatterpoint card not just on your primaries, because I feel like unless you draw your Shatterpoint early, you're pretty much always using it on your primaries to try and get some beat down, because the primaries are just stronger. And now it's going to be like, oh, you're even making our Shatterpoint card a more strategic decision, and you just tacked it onto the mission pack. Oh,
Exactly.
that just tells me that they're gonna do this more, and that's gonna allow us to get even more depth in the game.
Exactly, and I think even Michael Plummer, the senior game developer for AMG, had even mentioned that when they were talking about the actual game itself, or the mission pack itself, how now you're going to have even more things to think about the fact of, okay, who do I activate with my Shatterpoint card? Do I want to reserve this character so that I can sit there and maybe activate a different, completely different unit? Like, do I want to activate a supporting unit instead of the primaries out of reserve or something along those lines? So it was very interesting to see his take on that. As the developer, like, nope, this is going to add a whole nother dimension to actually your gameplay of who do you activate with your Shatterpoint card. So it was definitely something that was thought about.
Yes, which is great. It means that, and this is something that games like this, where there's things that are constantly getting added on. Game developers have to seed things in. Like, I have a feeling we probably are going to be looking back at, and I know we just talked about this on the podcast, but we're going to be looking back at the core set and saying, okay, hang on, maybe I haven't touched my Mandos in a while, but this mission pack, I need more mobility. So now I'm going to be pulling back from these earlier units because jetpack's going to matter more, whereas maybe it didn't before. So like I think that's cool. I think that's good design. I mean, obviously they have a lot of experience from MCP and the other games they've worked on where they're developing this. I'm just excited.
Very excited.
It sounds like we're going on a good path.
Yeah, and I have faith that AMG. I mean, especially coming from the MCP and a lot of things they did on the MCP side for this weekend, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but they did some amazing things MCP.
We don't have time.
We don't. They did some amazing things MCP. Like, side note, they basically completely redid 22 character cards for MCP, like, and fixed 22 character cards, and they were all like, yes, some people are going to be upset about it, but that's one of the things I love about AMG is they're willing to sit there and go, okay, we need to relook at all of this stuff and see if we need to make tweaks, and they will make the tweaks. And I love that. I love that they're willing to do that, and that's what I think makes this company so good at what they do. But moving on, so we've definitely gone into this mission pack quite a bit. So since we're talking about the mission pack and Hondo, I definitely wanted to move up talking about the actual Hondo squad. So super excited. Like, Hondo is, I don't know if you know, but this is from my boy Joe over at Imperial Outpost. He's one of the people that works there. He's probably like the main manager type over there. He turned me on to this. If you were a 90s kid and watched Tailspin, there was a character named Don Carnage on Tailspin. He was the pirate from there. The person who voiced Don Carnage from the 90s Tailspin cartoon is the same person that voiced Hondo in Clone Wars. Yes, that is correct. Your face says it all. So, super cool. Like, that just made me like Hondo even more than I already did like him. So,
Right.
getting Hondo, and I'm so excited about Hondo and his space pirates.
Oh yeah. They talked about in the roadmap that he pairs very well with Cad Bane. Like, they have very low force. Like, I'm betting we're getting another like low force output with Hondo. Like, I like that they're doing that with like the pirate. Like, obviously the pirates are not very connected with the force, right? They're very in the underworld. Like I am not I'm a light side guy. Like they're usually not my favorite characters, but I gotta make an exception for Hondo. I mean, Hondo's a great character. Like you could just feel Obi-Wan groaning in agony every time he has to interact with Hondo, and it's just great.
Yeah.
It's great. So they nailed. It looks like they nailed the sculpt. They talked about like basically the very first one that they picked for Hondo. Everybody loved, and it
Yeah.
stayed. It sounds like it stayed that way. They didn't have to do any revisions to it because you just get the energy of Hondo. Like I'm not usually a pirate fan, but I might make an exception for Hondo because
I think everybody
it
makes an
sounds like it's
exception
gonna be
for
a good time.
Hondo. Yeah, everybody makes an exception for Hondo. He's just that cool. I mean, and yes, Simone from AMG makes no mistakes that Hondo is her dude, and she loves Hondo to no end. So it's cool that we actually that like we're getting Hondo. I'm super excited about him for sure. So, yeah, but yeah, it's they didn't give us any of his cards or anything along those lines. I'm really hoping my hope is that at the end of the year we're gonna get the Hondo box and the PLO Coon box, and that's gonna just close out Clone Wars era while they move into the next era. So that's really where I'm hoping they're gonna go. I think that's the most logical way to go. So I'm hoping that that's like before like. I'm hoping that my wife will be able to buy me the Hondo box for Christmas. Is really what we're hoping for here.
Just putting that out in the world. Yeah.
Just
No, I would be really surprised. It sounds like we're moving into the original trilogy era early next year. That's what it sounded like. That's where we're kicking things off. They talked about because at first I was like, why are we doing Return of the Jedi first? And then they talked about, well, it's the 40th anniversary, and they were trying to get that to sync up. And I mean, frankly, I'm not upset. Return of the Jedi is great, and I those are all some iconic depictions. But yeah, it sounds like hopefully we're finishing out Clone Wars and the prequel trilogy at the end of this year. We get to start off fresh. And what is exciting, Todd, you're talking about your wife. My fiance has been very reluctant to do anything besides paint with me. I don't think she really wants to do a new game, which I don't blame her. I was also reluctant before we started this journey of Shatterpoint. But spoilers, C-3PO, R2-D2, and the Ewoks got her going, "Oh, wait a minute. I get to play with the OG crew? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Murder teddy bears are on the menu. Let's go."
That is fantastic. Well, so yeah, so let's go ahead and actually just jump in and talk about the Galactic Civil War era characters. They did say that they're going to be coming out early next year, so we're probably looking January, February, at least first quarter of January, February, March, first quarter of 2024. And I think if you've watched the Adepticon spoilers before, they've already shown this. It's going to be Luke, Leia as Bosch, and Lando in his outfit, his bounty hunter outfit, as well as R2-D2. One of the cool things for this box that they mentioned was there's alternate heads or different alternate things for every model. So you can do R2 as the droid, bar droid, not bar droid. Because Luke had two different tunics that he wore during the movie, he's going to have two different tunics. Leia can be with or without her helmet, and with or without holding the thermal detonator, and Lando with or without his actual helmet too. So a lot of cool things going on with just the hobby piece of this particular model. I think I'm going to do Luke with his Emperor's Throne tunic simply because he matches up really well with Vader, and we'll definitely jump into Vader too. So I'm really looking forward to this box. It looks like it's cool, and I'm definitely going to do R2 Bar 2.
Oh yeah. Oh no. You. I'm sorry. I love R2-D2, but come on, you gotta do bar drinks. You gotta do bar drinks. It's so great. And I might do the opposite. I kind of dig Luke's threads from the Jabba's palace. Yeah. So I think I might go the opposite route. I mean, if I'm being honest, yours is probably the better choice, but hey, we get to do what we want. We'll just say Vader showed up early. At the end of Jabba's palace scene, Vader came to come get Luke, and that's all right. It's all right.
He had a
This is
premonition to show
I'm
up.
leaning into the right. I'm leaning into the what if part of this. Like I saw on social media what would have happened if Hondo was the only pilot available in the Mos Eisley Cantina when Ben and Luke show up looking for a ship. Yeah, now I totally want to pair Obi-Wan and Hondo on a squad. Will it be good? I doubt it. Will I enjoy it? Absolutely.
Just there for the memes, obviously. Yes, loving it.
Meme squad. That's my role here.
Fantastic. I like it. I love it. So yeah, no, I'm really excited. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but as far as spoilers for this, they really only gave us the Leia secondary card here, which okay, I'm okay with it. Oh, I see.
They have more. Have you been on Shatterpoint DB?
Yes, they have more.
They have Luke.
Yes.
Oh. We're just talking about the roadmap. Sorry.
So first for the
everyone
roadmap.
else that you can read the cards.
Yes, the entire squad's cards are available out in the ether of the internet. That is true. But for the remote roadmap itself, they only gave us the Leia Bosch card, and so that's. I'm really excited about this. I mean, she seems like a fun secondary for sure.
Oh yeah. I like they and they talked about this in the roadmap, how they're always looking for those digestible quotes from the movies, ones that can fit on a single line, that are good for an ability. And oh man, no, they did a great job. It's I want 50,000, no less. Fearless and inventive. Like you just what I love about this game, and I know I'm the lore guy, but you want the character to feel like the character when you're playing. And this, chef's kiss, you feel like Leia is the bounty hunter infiltrating Jabba's palace. People make fun of Luke all the time. Why did he send everybody one at a time? Well, he was, he had a master plan. It required everybody to be in place. Leia, maybe not where she ended up, but, like it.
Leia ended up exactly where she needed to be, in that freaking hot bikini. Looking great, chained up. I don't know what you're talking about. That was perfect. That was like every preteen freaking fantasy right there was Leia in that metal bikini. Don't take that away from me, Aubrey.
Okay. All right. That's Star Wars After Dark, Todd. Different podcast.
No, but as overall, I mean, she looks like a pretty cool character. A new keyword coming out with spy. Like, I don't know, like that one is really cool. Her activated ability to just sit there and her or another allied spy, which right now she's the only one that we know that is a spy, being able to reposition completely is really cool.
Yeah. And of course, as we're finally seeing with PLO Coon, I highly doubt that AMG is putting these keywords on there haphazardly. They're clearly seeded. Like, some of them we're probably going to have to wait for a payoff, like Shadow Collective from Maul. Like, I mean, Crimson Dawn is really big in the comics. There was a huge storyline, which I won't talk about in detail today, but there's a huge storyline with Crimson Dawn facing off against both the Rebel Alliance and the Empire. So I fully expect us to see, what's her name from the Solo movie? Kira?
Yeah.
Kira? Something like that, yeah. Like, I'm sure we'll probably see some of the characters from the... Yeah, yes. We'll probably see her. Yes, Kira, Mother of Dragons. Yes, that's the. We're gonna have a Shatterpoint crossover event.
Shatterpoint Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll see those. But no, it's great.
No, so yeah, definitely, it's really cool that we're gonna like what we can potentially get here. Definitely opens up. So going into, since we're going down this path of that box, the next thing that they did end up showing us was in fact the Vader box, which is really cool. So the Vader box is going to have Vader and just a bunch of stormtroopers. a lot of hate for Vader's cape on the internet because it's billowing out so much, but I think it's really cool.
Nah, I think so I mean, I get that it doesn't do that often, like in the movies, like in the actual fights of the movies, but I mean, you feel like he is bringing his lightsaber down, maybe even with like a pommel strike, like he's actually using the lightsaber. Like it feels like if you put this next to Luke, which is what they talked about in the roadmap, it looks like Luke is lined up with a defense and Vader is coming down all aggressive. Nah, I think it looks good. I mean, we'll have to see the model in person, but come on, capes are supposed to billow. This isn't Incredibles. Nothing bad happens. Capes are just cool.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm looking like the models seem pretty cool. I like where they went with this for sure. Overall, I mean, I like it. I really do like it. I think it's going to be a really cool model. Um, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. Definitely looking forward to this. The next thing that they did show us was the Stormtrooper Sergeant card, and I think that's going to be a fun card for us to break down and look at. They did talk about how these are for sure just some not the not a the best not like the stormtroopers like we've always known them to be, oh, I'm gonna miss everything and I can't hit a target for the life of me type of a thing, and they really didn't want to play 100% into that, which completely understandable. We want actually these characters to be playable and everything along those lines.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job of explaining it. Like, I mean, come on, we want the good guys to win. Let's be real. Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie had plot armor the whole way through A New Hope. What their story actually told me about, and again, I don't want to dive too far off field because we have so much to cover. But there is this Legends book where it follows Mara Jade while Mara Jade is still the Emperor's hand and going on a mission with these stormtroopers. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't actually remember what the mission was or what the plot was, but what I remember is the stormtroopers in that story, they were like elite, the best of the best. They did not mess around. They provided exactly what you would expect in terms of cover support for a force wielder during the dark times of the Empire. Like, basically, the only reason why they didn't murder Luke and company is because they had to, and I just don't remember the plot, and it only occurred to me like right now as we're talking about this, but basically they had to like join up with Luke and co because something even worse was going to happen to like both the Rebel Alliance and the Empire. But no, those stormtroopers, they actually were making fun of the newbie stormtroopers from A New Hope, where they're like, no, 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 we are not those people. We are professionals. We know what we're doing. And that's what you would expect from a squad that's coming with Lord Vader, right? You know, Lord Vader does not brook fools. His squad's going to know what they're doing.
Yeah, Vader's Fist. Just to go back and like Vader's Fist was like an amazing group of clone troopers. Well, it was clone troopers, and then it turned over to the normal stormtroopers. So I mean, he had the best of the best with them for sure. So I mean, that's what he should be bringing with him, and that should be the expectation with the soldiers that are going to bring with him. One thing to look at here, it is a 3-point cost primary, or secondary, I should say. So Vader is going to be 7. I'm sure, like I said, you can go and see his card and everything along those lines now. But we're getting another secondary that's a 3-point cost, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's what Vader needs. Vader needs more options, and I think this one is. I mean, either Vader, you know, because we'll have 2 Vaders now, and yeah, I think this is going to be great. I also like just the detail of they chose to show like the grind of the Imperial war machine, that they deal damage to themselves, that this is very much a war of attrition and we don't care how we win as long as we win. And I like that feels like Empire. I am not a dark side player, but just the design of these cards and the squad, I immediately went, yep, that's Empire. That sounds cool. Let's go.
Exactly. And like the last big thing, because the rest of it was just kind of like spoilers of like, here's some potential squads coming. So the last big stuff that we saw like at least with cards being spoiled and everything, were the 2 Ewok boxes. So really cool. They did mention like the Ewoks are a little squishy late game, but they are very aggressive on the front end. So it's going to be an interesting type of play to sit there and bring that. But you can bring an entire strike force of Ewoks if you want to. And really cool with this box is there's a mix and match of a lot of different primaries and secondaries. So that was pretty neat that there's the ability, you get a primary Leia in the one box that I have up on the screen for the people that are watching on YouTube. So that one has a primary Leia and a primary Chief Chirpa, and then a secondary and then your supporting unit. So that's really cool that you have that, a primary Leia that you can have right off the rip with this Ewok box.
Yes, I'm excited that they gave us so many options, because it feels like the Ewoks could have just been like here's a squad pack for those of you who are obsessed with the murder bears. Everybody else can ignore them. Instead, it sounds like they went deep. Like, just looking at Logray, like Logray has so many abilities and so many ways you can use them, and keeping track of the different kinds of Ewoks that you have available to you. If you had told me at any point in my life that I would be excited about choosing the Ewoks as my faction of choice, I would have laughed you out of wherever we are. And now I'm like, oh, are the Ewoks going to save the light side? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, there's going to be some, but they did actually make a reference that these guys are the Ewoks are not going to, and I guess kind of let it slip. Ewoks are not going to have that reference or this tag of rebels, so they're going to be very specific just to that particular unit. So it's really cool. I mean, because they have the Endor Ewok, and Logray at least has the Shaman tag. So there's not a rebel tag anywhere to be found on that, which kind of makes sense. They're murder bears that are just stuck on that one moon. So I'm excited though. I think it's going to be a pretty neat. I mean, and then looking at the Logray box, the one that he's going to be coming in, he's going to have Wicket as a supporting unit, and another supporting unit of the R2D2, the golden god that he is with R2D2. So pretty cool that there's 2 different secondaries in that unit. So there's a lot of mix and matching that can go on between these 2 boxes.
And I will only spoil one thing that they didn't show us in the roadmap. R2D2 and C3PO, that secondary, has 2 stances.
Yes.
Like, no, we've only seen that on primaries up until now. So there you go. One spoiler. I couldn't stand it because I was like, wait. There's 2 sides, one for C3PO and one for R2D2, and I'm like, that's so good. It's so good.
Very cool. Very cool. And so going forward, the rest of the stuff that they showed us on the roadmap was just giving us images of everything. So not really a whole lot of like detail, just showing it. So they did show there is the Mando and the Child box, which has Mando, the IG-88, and I cannot remember the name of his buddy that like actually was in the bar with him. So it looks like it's probably season 1 of Mando type of characters though. So
yes. The guy who's eventually in charge of the planet. Like, I'm blanking on his name right now. That's terrible. But yeah. So like, I'm hoping in that box again. Each side is maybe one side is the Mandalorian. The other side is maybe Grogu. Like, now I like where we're going with this idea of showcasing dual characters. Like that, I think that's really nice. There's Rebels. I mean, we already knew that from all the way back at Adepticon, right? They showed those.
They didn't have the pointed stuff. So some of the things that they did. One of the things they didn't show us from Adepticon though was the Moth Gideon box. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Oh, right. I'm jumping ahead. I forgot. That's right.
You are. You're all over the place. It's okay. So but the Moth Gideon box looks really cool. I'm pretty excited for that one because I was like, that one was like, they didn't spoil that at Adepticon, and then it's like they showed Moth Gideon. I'm like, oh yes, because I do like Moth Gideon. He's just such a good bad guy.
Oh yeah, no, they. I'm happy that's. I like what they're doing of they're not building these boxes like, oh, what's a squad people might like? Oh, well, how about Luke and the Jabba's Palace Rescue Squad? Well, no, we're also getting another box that kind of goes along with that. Like they're pairing that box with the Vader box, and then this one you have the whole idea of, yeah, you've got the Mandalorian and his crew, but here's the Death Troopers and Moth Gideon, and they're like the foil. So I like that they're making it so that we can kind of recreate these scenes. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring Mando and Luke. I don't care. I am recreating the freaking awesome hallway scene. I am gonna cut down some Death Troopers with Luke freaking Skywalker. That scene is getting recreated at some point in my future.
And that is completely fair. Completely fair. One of the things I'm looking forward to, and they did kind of spoil this at Adepticon as well, is the Iden Versio box. Very cool to see her.
Is that the Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad?
The Inferno Squad and the Special Forces of the Imperial. So yes, her and her Special Forces one. So like, yeah, definitely for like the video game people. This is more for them. You didn't see a lot of her in any of the live action type of stuff. But they have Del Mico as well as one of the support units. So there's 2 different support units in this box that are coming out. So just a lot of cool things coming in the future as far as for the Empire as well, just like in what they're going to be bringing. So there's a lot of different ways you can build the Empire, it looks like.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering about is because like they gave us the one Vader box, very cool. I think it's spot on, great. But I was like, wait a minute, where's the rest of the Empire? I have a feeling they've held a little bit back because they want to show us. I mean, Inferno Squad is cool. That gives me hope. I really want a Jedi Fallen Order squad. I just think that would be cool with Cal and the Night Sister and his mentor. Man, I'm blanking on name. I told you, everybody, I'm sleepy today. His mentor and the pilot, and like he has this little droid. Like
it does give everybody that wants Cal definitely some hope, because I think like he is such a fan favorite, especially with the game that just came out. So it definitely gives a lot of hope for some non TV series, non book series type of characters to come out, and so hopefully we'll see something of that coming out. But yeah, just to do a quick wrap up, I think we're getting close to the end of what they went over. One of the cool things was the Han box that came out. So you have Han, Chewie ripping the arm off of an IG-88, which is amazing. I love that sculpt. And just some regular Rebel troopers. So I like that box. It looks like really cool. I'm super excited to paint Chewie up.
Yep, we got that, and then like I was jumping ahead to, they spoiled at the very end some more animated stuff. We've got Bad Batches coming, which we just got the art, nothing else, so we don't know anything about them. Although it sounds like they've got some cool designs incoming. You definitely want to look out for that. And then of course the rebel crew, the crew of the Ghost, like that's gonna be fun. I'm interested to see what that's gonna look like.
It's gonna look cool. And like the promotional cards that they showed for their promotional order deck cards for the entire Ghost troop looks really cool. So like being able to play Ezra, I mean, and like a lot of us have been seeing a lot of these guys from the Ahsoka series, so minus Kanan, of course, because he did not make it out of the Rebel series, but like the entire cast of the Ghost and the Rebels is going to be coming to the game, which is really exciting as well. So I'm looking forward to that. The last thing that, like, just to kind of put a cap on all of this, since we are actually going to make it through this entire thing, the new terrain that's coming out, that garage terrain piece looks really cool, and like it will be something to add to the gameplay, just a nice large piece to kind of like maybe take up the middle of the table and add another dimension to the game.
Yep, I'm all in favor of more terrain. I mean, we know I've been trying to print out terrain. The 3D printer's been having issues, but I'll work it out. Yeah, so I'm all in favor of more terrain because I really like that high ground pack. That was cool. The tower that's in there is great. They talked about this one being a little modular so that you can move some pieces around to change it up each time. Yeah, no, that looks fun. And I guess they showed it off in some videos of like some of their gameplay
Yeah, if you
videos, and
watch
so
some of their
people have been
live
losing
stream
their
stuff,
mind.
yeah, if you watch some of their live stream stuff, they show that out there as well. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, this has been kind of seen out there, and like people will just were like, what is that going on over there? So this is that piece of terrain that's been on a lot of their live streams. So you being a librarian and working actually not where you can sit there and stare at your phone all day long during the day when they're doing their live streams, probably haven't been able to see it. So, but yeah, if you go back to their Twitch channel or even to the YouTube channel for AMG, they do have a lot of their live streams where they have their playthroughs and stuff like that. And just to throw it out there, like, I think Dallas Kemp, the art director for AMG, is amazing, and he does a lot of live streams with painting, and he has a lot of videos up there that you can just watch. So it's like, if you really want to see some good technique and how to paint really well, he has some really good stuff out there. Him and Schick, they both do some painting streams that are pretty amazing.
Yes, I have to say the art decision that it talked about this in the roadmap to like kind of lean into the Clone Wars animation style specifically for the art on the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was an inspired choice, even carrying it forward. I mean, we got Sassy Leia. The Luke art is really cool.
The
You know,
Plo
we got
art.
R2. Yeah, the Plo art.
Yeah.
They just nailed it. The art is definitely part of why I'm enjoying the game so much. And I know that's like my thing with most games in general. But sometimes you get art and you're like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to playing my game now. Nah, so far every time I see a card or every time I see a new release, there's always a handful of the art where I go, whoa, somebody's been cooking real nice in the
Yeah.
background over there.
Exactly. I mean, that's the both of us coming from the Magic background that we came from. Like, there was like a lot of times where you just open up a Magic card and you're like, dude, this art's amazing. So it's like that's I think we both are kind of like that, where it's like the artwork that is attached to a card, or in this case a game, is just really draws you into the game, and it's very important. Like, I think a lot of people overlook the importance of the artwork that is available, and that's so for us, it definitely draws us in, and we definitely appreciate the artwork that comes with these games. So, no, super excited for this. I know we're going to break down the rest of Ministravaganza in upcoming podcasts, but we wanted to just kind of go over and give our brief thoughts on this, because this was a lot of information. There was a lot more out there. So, if you have the chance to sit there and go onto the AMG's YouTube channel, all of the videos that are up for all the different game systems for Ministravaganza are up there. Definitely worth watching. So definitely want to close this out and thank everybody for listening. All of the links for all of our stuff are going to be below in the descriptions if you want to join our Discord. Mostly all we do is share memes on there. That's a lot of what we do, is just share a lot of memes that would like make us. And we do talk lore, but yeah, I mean, if you want to jump in there and talk some more with us, we're definitely up for it. But always, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is to leave a rating on your application of choice. I said it again. There you go. Your app of choice that you listen to, whichever you're listening to your podcast. Yeah, shake your head, Aubrey. It's okay. I want to be a boomer. But we do appreciate anything that you guys do to help support the channel. We thank each and every one of you for listening, and as always, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.